What is up, guys? It is the Sports Nerd Bradley Walker, and welcome to the Walker Report, part of NGSC Sports. Guys, remember the website. It's ngscsports.com for all your current sports content. We are also a part of Mancini Media, the part of Game Winner Sports Network, and the Sports Alliance of America Incorporated as well. Welcome in, guys. Happy Thursday to you. I have a new microphone right here, so talking to one of my co-hosts before the show, everything seems to be coming in crystal clear. So that's good to know. I decided to go with a smaller microphone than I had before. So that everything is going well with that. But again, guys, happy Thursday. Hopefully everyone out there is having a good one. As we get closer and closer, guys, to the start of football. My first high school football game will be next Friday night. Scary. I'm already getting nervous already about next Friday, but I'm looking forward to that. We will be talking the latest sports topics tonight. We have two sponsors on the show, creatingzenspaces.com. It is the local choice in St. Petersburg, Florida for house cleaning, organization, decluttering, and pet sitting. It's about finding the peace within you and adding comfort to your life. And guys, remember, Zen Spaces begins with you. Be kind to yourself and one another. We are also sponsored by funwags.com. Born from a near tragedy from one of the Funwags mascots, had a reaction from a store brand treat, but they were fueled to succeed with treats made from 3 to 5 ingredients you can pronounce. The Funwags mascots invite you to try fun-wags.com because our fur babies deserve the best. Head over to fun-wags.com to get your treats. Welcome in, guys. Let me bring on my three outstanding co-host this evening. Gentlemen, how we doing?
Doing good.
Okay, ready to go.
Cool. Good news.
Doing it.
How's everyone doing? Everyone doing good?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're doing all right.
And so again, the microphone sounds good. I'm coming in clear, not any.
Yeah.
Cool.
So am I.
I got the neighbors mowing the lawn, so.
No, that's okay, dude. You know, for the life of me, I always wanted to try to do a show outside, and with the mosquitoes and the heat, I don't know if I can do it.
You don't
It's
want
just-
to do one down here because we got mosquitoes the size of 747s down here.
I don't know if I could do it.
It's gorgeous. It's just too nice of a night to be stuck inside.
Well, but you were out last week too outside. So
Yeah. It was a little warmer last week. This week it's gorgeous. This
and
week
you know
it's
what, dude? I didn't get a chance to smoke those cigars I told you about last week, but I got both, one of each. I'm really excited. Found a cigar shop that has them, so I'm really excited about that.
that's
So,
awesome.
Down here, you'd be sitting there doing a show, and then we'd be saying, Where's Bradley? Where's Bradley? And all of a sudden you see giant mosquitoes carrying him away like.
Yeah, no, that would be true. Either that, or there'd be so much sweat running down my face. My face would just disappear. It would just sweat right into the ground because it's
You'd be like,
so humid here. Yeah, so humid here.
I'll bet.
Yeah.
yeah. Last week was a little rough. It was a little warm. This week is absolutely gorgeous.
Cool.
Yeah,
And I'm gonna do as many shows outdoors before it gets too cold.
Sounds good to me. Like I
Speaking
said,
of-
I would do a show outside too if it wasn't for the humidity and the insects.
I need to get a good.
We got a weather maker that's going on down the Gulf of Mexico that could affect me with some rain, and we needed it here bad.
It's that time of the year, Gerald, too, for hurricanes. This is about the time of the year we start watching. We start looking at the weather, checking it every day to make sure that there's two of them, I think, in the Atlantic Ocean. Correct me if I'm wrong.
There's two of them out there by the Caribbean islands.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Yep.
Yeah, but y'all don't get out of bed for anything less than a 3, though.
True.
Anything more than 3 would be devastating.
Yeah, well, I mean, if a Cat 5 hit where I live, we'd be underwater. There's no way we'd be above water. Yep.
Well, one good thing about Austin is we're so far away from any coastal waters. By the time it gets here, it's nothing but rain.
Yeah,
That's a good thing.
it's it's not the wind that gets you; it's the water.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Storm surge. Storm surge.
Well,
What's bad here.
Storm
Yeah.
surge plus especially with like Katrina. Katrina only made landfall as a 3, but it sat out in the Gulf for 48 hours. It sat out in the Gulf.
As a 5, Adam.
It made landfall as a 3. I just looked it up the other day.
They were saying a 4. So
Either way, it wasn't the strength, because that scale is only to measure the wind. What happened with Katrina is it sat out on the coast for 48 hours and just spun all that water up inside and dumped it on New Orleans. The levees couldn't handle it.
Correct.
Because the Army Corps of Engineers spent 30 years telling them it can't handle it.
Same thing happened with Andrew too in 1993 in Homestead.
Yeah.
About hurricanes. They love to drop tornadoes.
Yep.
And for water.
Water and wind are the two things you have to worry about with hurricanes. Yep. Well,
more so the water than the wind, because wind really isn't the biggest issue, right? It's the wind is a big issue with tornadoes, right? Because that's what makes the tornado dangerous. What makes a hurricane dangerous is the water. All that water, like you can, like especially with the tornado, like a hurricane's winds, you can batten down the hatches, you can put boards up, you can take windows down, you can prepare for the wind. The problem is that 25, 30 inches of water.
Correct. So we don't talk about this league very often. I know they're in the midst of their season, right, Lou? Are they in the midst of their season?
Yes, they are. I know where you're going with this. It was the in-season tournament known as the Commissioner's Cup.
Correct. The Commissioner's Cup between LA and New York, right?
You're half right, New York, but it was against Vegas.
Oh, Vegas. I'm sorry. Okay.
Vegas
Okay.
Aces.
The Aces
are the top team in the league.
And New York won it, right? They won the cup, right? Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought. I saw that and I saw that pop up and I wanted to talk about that. Also, too, Breonna Stewart became the first player in WNBA history to have 3 40-point games in a season. That's a record, right?
That's a record for the league, yes.
She's a player. I mean, she was a Husky at UConn, so she knows how to score.
Yeah.
She knows how to score.
She does.
She's
I've watched her play at UConn.
She's one of the top players in the league, correct?
If not the best.
The
But she's
best.
up there
Okay.
Up there
So
to-
I wanted to talk about the Commissioner's Cup. I saw that pop up, and I wanted to get into that. Let's see. Let's switch it. Let's do. Hang on a minute. Let's do this. Let's go to. Let's talk a little NASCAR. What was the whole thing with Indianapolis? I read a lot of articles this week about NASCAR wanting to run a road course in Indianapolis next season. Is that
No,
something?
they ran the road course. They've run the road course the last 2 years.
Oh, okay, got you. Okay.
And they're not sure what they're going to do with it next year. If they're going to run the road course again, or if they're going to go back to the oval.
Okay.
I say go back to the oval because that road course in Minneapolis, it just didn't.
It just doesn't.
No.
No,
It's so fun watching road course.
I agree. I've never. I liked watching Glenn and Sonoma. I always thought 2 road course races a year were plenty. And for me, what makes NASCAR unique to the other sports is they don't run a lot of other tracks. We run ovals. That's what makes you NASCAR. Because all the other series is that a word? If that's a word, they run they run everything but ovals, right? Like your F1, they don't run any ovals, and IndyCar runs a select number of ovals, but most of their road races are either road course or street course.
The only over course I know of that the Indy runs is the Brickyard.
They run Iowa, and they used to run. I don't know if they're still if they still run Texas. Used to run Texas all the time.
But the track down here in Austin, Coda, I want to go to a live event and check that out for myself.
That is the plan, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was gonna go. Isn't that coming up next year?
March.
March.
Jesus Christ, that's right around the corner. You're gonna blink and it'll be March. Holy how fast the year goes by. It'll be March before you know it. Holy cow. Okay.
And I'm gonna look into see how much the weekend passes are for all three events, for the truck, the Infinity, and the Cup.
Yeah.
I would imagine it probably would be cheaper to go get a package deal than get just one race. I mean, I don't know. Don't tell me. I don't know how that works.
That's what the weekend passes are. It covers you for all three events.
Yeah, that's cool. So
I think the weekend.
Oh, I'm sorry, but go ahead.
I think the weekend passes for Charlotte were 180.
Gotcha. And that was the Infinity race and the Coca-Cola 600.
Trucks and Xfinity and Cup.
Oh, gotcha, all three. Okay.
Yeah. Because the trucks, we have the trucks, Infinity, and Cup run here at Coda. The trucks run Friday.
I was gonna say, is it Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
The Infinity runs Saturday. Cup cars run Sunday.
Trucks and Xfinity are Saturday.
Okay.
Because they don't have lights at Coda. So they run trucks. They run a double feature trucks and Xfinity on Saturday, and then Cup runs on Sunday.
Because they don't have the lights at Coda.
Or correct. Because it's a road course, and road courses are big. And it's hard to light them. It's expensive.
And I think Coda has 13 turns?
20.
20.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, Coda's 20 turns.
But turn one, that's fun. Because you're sitting there in your car and you're going uphill.
130 feet up in the air.
That's cool.
Wow.
Hard into it.
Where is NASCAR this week coming up?
Watkins Glen.
Watkins Glen. That's a road course, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
It is.
location.
It's in.
I don't know. Is that still considered a road course, or is it
It is.
Okay.
Yep.
Watkins Glen, Sonoma, Coda, Indianapolis,
Chicago?
Those are the 5 road courses that NASCAR run on.
It used to
It's
just
Charlotte. Charlotte road course.
And
it used to be 2.
And then they run on Daytona road course every now and then.
Just the one. It was only a one-off because they couldn't run Homestead.
Oh, okay. So that was a fill-in for Homestead.
Yep.
And now they race Homestead early in the season, right? That used to be the last race of the year. Now they've changed the schedule around.
Yep.
Okay. Daytona, they open in Daytona, and then it's the last race before the playoffs. Is that how they've done it now?
Right.
Okay.
Daytona's next week.
I keep hearing it on the radio every week that it's like, oh, and there's 16 spots, and the last spot that it's not just any track, it's Daytona. It's like, oh, okay. So
Yep.
Yeah. I gotta make sure the next time I go to a NASCAR race, there's no rain in the forecast.
Good luck with
That's what I
that.
have to do.
This season, it's going to be at Homestead, Miami.
See, in February it doesn't rain in Florida, so I can go to Daytona and be safe. So, but my luck is I plan the week out, and the day of the damn race, it would freaking rain. So, yeah, yep.
But Adam, when you're down here, I'm going to give you a piece of advice. Bring a raincoat just in case.
At least we do. At least we don't have to worry about it raining.
Yep.
Because here in Texas, you never know what the season's going to bring.
Yeah, it rained to the time I touched down in North Carolina to the time I left North Carolina.
Yep.
It rained. It didn't. It would stop to sprinkle. That's what it would stop. It would stop to sprinkle, and then it would start back up again. So.
Yep.
Yep.
I've seen it snow here in Austin on Valentine's Day.
Ooh, that's scary. That's scary. Yeah, I don't have to worry about that.
We had snow sticking around for maybe 3 days.
Okay. So, tell me who you guys, because you guys are both NASCAR guys. Who are the 16 drivers right now that are holding down spots to get to the playoffs?
I know Chase Elliott's in there.
Nope.
He got beat out.
He doesn't have a playoff spot yet.
Wow.
He's 19th.
Ooh, that's not good.
No.
He needs to win one of these next 2 weeks, either Watkins Glen or Daytona.
If he doesn't win those two, he's done.
Yep.
Who's the points leader right now?
I think it's Truex.
Hang on, I can go look that up.
Yeah, hold up.
And give you.
Really good.
Because is that how they determine who the top 16 guys are? The top 16 in points? Is that how it goes, or is it? Okay.
It's the first 6. Hold on. It's the first number of drivers with a win. First is wins,
Okay.
and then it goes by points based on win.
Gotcha. Okay.
So if they don't have 16 winners by the end of the regular season, then they'll take the guy with the most points without a win.
Gotcha. Okay.
I'm fixing to pull that up right now and let you know who the top 10 are in NASCAR.
I think there's 13 winners right now. There's either 13 or 14 winners, or it's between 12 and 14. I want to say it's 13 different winners so far this year. So those 13 have locked themselves in. And then with only 2 races to go to the playoffs, they can't be bumped by a winner. So those 13 guys will make the playoffs, and then there's the 2 winners from that. The winner is if there's a new winner for the next 2 weeks, or in the next 2 weeks, they will lock themselves in. So we could have 15 different winners, and then 1 spot up for points.
Okay, here's the top 10. Number 1 is Martin Truex.
Okay.
Number 2 is Denny Hamlin. 3 is William Byron. 4 is Christopher Bell. 5 is Kyle Larson. 6 is Kevin Harvick. 7 is Ross Chastain. 8 is Brad Keselowski. 9 is Ryan Blaney. And 10 is Chris Buescher.
Okay. So those are the top 10 right now.
Those are the top 10 that guaranteed a spot.
In points. Because neither Truex nor Keselowski have a win.
So.
Or Harvick. Harvick and Keselowski don't have wins.
So Truex, no matter what, is guaranteed a spot in the playoffs because he has a win.
Yes.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Okay. So those guys, as of right now, are those 10 are locked up. Those spots are all locked up for the playoff.
now.
Yeah.
For now.
And all it takes is one loss, and one bad finish, and that driver could be done.
That's scary. That's a scary place to be.
Well, no. Yes and no. I mean,
that's what makes racing fun.
I was gonna say that.
With the three round knockout, it makes it one bad race isn't going to ruin your season, but it makes the next two races that much more difficult.
You could be going into a race in the number one position and have a bad finish, and that could knock you down to like number 3 or number 4, or even lower. Then you have to race your way back up, try to get back to that number 1.
And then tell me if I'm right or wrong, guys. Once the playoff starts with the 16, there are so many races, and then they knock so many drivers out. 10 go out after so many races.
10 races.
10 races.
Three rounds, and then the championship in Phoenix.
And then does it come down to 3 drivers in the end, or how many drivers? 4 drivers in the end. Okay, gotcha. See, this is good to know. I don't know a lot about NASCAR. So 4 drivers in Phoenix will battle for the championship at that point.
The top 4 drivers at the end of the season will battle for the championship.
Sure.
Yeah.
And who's the sponsor now that sponsors the cup? I know it's not Winston anymore. It's who is it now?
They have 4 partner sponsorships.
Okay.
Well, I heard that Nextel or whoever's sponsoring them this year is going to be leaving.
Okay.
That's what I heard.
Okay.
But I don't know. Adam would probably know more about that.
And they have 4 associate sponsors. The Cup Series dropped their primary sponsor because they couldn't get the funding, and so now they have 4 associate sponsors. And I know Coke is one, and I don't remember the other one. The premier partners of NASCAR, Coke and Xfinity, and a couple other ones that I don't remember offhand.
Right.
Because basically NASCAR, the sport in general relies on sponsors, right? That's the main
Always
draw.
has.
Well, isn't that true with all motorsports? F1 and Indy too? Aren't they all revolve around sponsorships and stuff?
Huh? Yeah, I mean, essentially.
Because F1, it's who makes the car, right? It's the
Manufacturer, yeah.
Manufacturers, okay.
Yep.
And that's Ferrari, Mercedes,
Aston Martin.
Awesome. Okay. I was gonna say, who are the big makers in F1? Yeah.
Okay, Brad. Whenever you're ready, I got the top 25 pulled up.
You know what? Why don't we talk about that? Fire away.
Okay, college season rankings. We're gonna go through this and y'all tell me if it's too high or too low.
Okay.
Number 1 is Georgia.
Correct.
Right there where they need to be.
Number 2 is Michigan.
Correct.
Yep.
Number 3 is Ohio State.
Correct.
Yes.
4, Alabama.
Correct.
You saying Alabama should be number 4?
I mean, until they're not. I mean, right now, I mean, looking at it as it sits right now, I don't think that there's anyone who's arguably better than Alabama. Maybe Texas, you could argue, is better than Alabama.
Georgia?
But obviously because they're number 1. I mean, at 4. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I mean, I don't think the other 21 teams that are behind them, I don't think anybody's better than them. I think the 3 teams that are ahead of them are probably better than them. But the thing about it is that we won't know until about week 6 when we get into conference play and they start playing tougher teams. We won't know where we're at, so we take all of this with a grain of salt.
Mm-hmm.
Number 5 is LSU.
I think that's right.
Yeah,
Number 6 is USC.
That might be a little high.
Number 7
they
is
did win the
Penn
conference
State.
championship last year, though.
Number 8 is Brad's favorite team, Florida State.
They deserve to be.
You cut deep, sir. You cut deep.
They deserve to be there. They do. And you know what? And I'm going to make a bold prediction now, and I hate to say this, but don't be surprised if they're one of the remaining 4 at the end of the season. They're a good football team. They're a good football team.
I expect them to win the ACC.
I hate to say that because I'm a Gator fan, but they're no joke in Tallahassee. That team is not a joke in Tallahassee. No injuries. They'll be right in the mix of it when we come playoff time.
Number 9 is Clemson.
Clemson.
Yeah, that might be a little high.
Number 10 is Washington.
Too high.
Pac-12, the remaining of the Pac-12.
Texas, which I think that's too high for us right now.
Texas is 13.
11.
11?
Yeah.
I think that's too high for us right now.
I wouldn't argue against it. I like. Actually, let me argue for it. I like yours. I like that defense. I think the defense is going to be good again this year. You got to replace the production of Dijon. Yeah. But other than that, I think you're still solid. You got a good receiving core, good offensive line. Playing in the Big 12 one last time. Big 12's weak. I think you should be able to run the table in the Big 12. I don't know who your non-con schedule is, but we'll get into that next week. So I figure next week we'll just do a whole 2 hours on pro and college football.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Number 12 is Tennessee.
Yeah, we'll see. No Hendon.
Again, I don't hate it.
We'll see.
I don't hate it. I'm not in love with their offense.
Gerald, we were just talking.
Notre Dame.
Well, before the show, Gerald was talking about Alabama, the team that, or if Georgia fails in the East, the team that could take over the East is Tennessee, by far.
Yeah.
There's no doubt that Tennessee could be that team. So, yeah. Well, I'm sorry. Who was the next one, Gerald?
Notre Dame.
I think they're too high.
Fighting Irish.
Notre Dame at 13, I can live with that. Thank God they're not in the top 10, let alone the top 5.
Right.
That they always every year. They somehow get into that. This is the first time in a while they haven't been in the top 10 and top 5 coming out of the preseason.
Makes sense.
14 is Utah.
Okay.
Yeah, I like
Okay.
that. I think Utah's better than USC, but that's just my opinion. But go on.
I think
But it's a little low.
I think that the one thing that keeps SC so high is having the Heisman winner.
Yeah.
15 is Oregon.
15 is Oregon?
Yeah.
Okay.
16 is Kansas State.
Too high.
Yeah.
17 is TCU.
About right.
18 is Oregon State.
Too high.
19 is Wisconsin.
Okay. Yeah, sounds about right.
20 is Oklahoma.
Okay.
Okay.
21 is UNC.
North Carolina.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
22 is Ole Miss.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
23 is A&M. Texas A&M.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Jimbo's on the hot seat.
It's Tulane.
True.
Good for them. Good for them.
25 is Iowa.
You know the team that I didn't hear in there that I'm surprised and that I would have switched out the Beavers for is Penn State.
Number 7 is Penn State.
What?
Number Penn State is number 7.
I was going to say
Seven.
that. 7.
Real high.
Wow.
I didn't hear you call them. Sorry about that.
They're pumping that thing into Happy Valley, aren't they?
Yeah.
Wow.
Whatever.
We talked about this on my show, but I want to get your thought, Adam, and your thought, Brad.
Mhm.
Y'all remember Michael Orr, the black
Right.
guy?
Correct. Yep.
He's coming forward now saying the adoption was not legal, and they're withholding money from him.
You know, I say in a lot of these things, I don't have enough information. To be straight up honest with you guys, I'm not going to speculate on these things. You know, that's a really personal, private matter. I hate it. I'm getting there. I'm gonna give you my opinion on this because and I don't like speculating on these things because we haven't had a court hearing yet. These things need to be hashed out before I can comment on them with a degree of certainty that makes me feel comfortable. I don't like spouting off at the mouth like you might see on a Fox Sports or an ESPN. You know,
If this was true, okay, and the adoption was not legal, why wait this long to file the court case?
You see, it wasn't just the adoption. There wasn't what it was a conservatorship because he was too old to be adopted when he was enrolling at Ole Miss. And the only way he was able to get in at Ole Miss and play football was through this conservatorship paperwork that had to be done allegedly. Again, I don't know the ins and outs of this case. I'm not a lawyer. This is not legal advice. So if you need legal advice, seek a lawyer.
I like that.
But from what I understand, because I heard a short clip about it, is that what happened was that he wanted to go to Ole Miss, but the person that brought him into the family was an alumni at Ole Miss, and so for it to be legal, he had to be some kind of legal guardian, and so he was too old to actually have a full adoption. So they did this thing where they did a conservatorship like what they did with Britney Spears, along the same line. What Orr is claiming is that, and this is all speculation, hearsay, and he said, she said, and all that. So, but my understanding is that what happened was that Orr is mad about the portrayal that he received in the movie, and the fact that they made him just a big dumb football player, and he didn't feel that was right. You know, me myself, I've always hated that movie. I always thought it was a very disrespectful portrayal of a football player. I've never liked the movie. I don't like the way that they wrote and directed, and I've never had any use for the movie myself. So do with that what you will. And like I said, we'll have to wait for more information to come out and more, when this, if and when this goes to court, if there's some kind of legal hearing and we get more information, then I will be able to give you a better, more rationed opinion based upon the further findings of an actual kind of legal or pseudo-legal let's just use the word investigation and then we'll call it there.
That's
So,
what I wanted to
like
know
the British
was,
Vision was also very toxic.
why did it take this long for him to file the paperwork?
And that
Possibly.
that could be because he wants to break the conservatorship. He wants to get access to all of his money, and and he may have gone and got a lawyer, and his lawyer said, "You need to do this to get the money you're entitled to." Now, the family that he was adopted by is saying that they didn't receive any money from the movie either. There is no movie money, and we loved him at 16, and we love him now. So, again, it's just a big pile of he said, she said bullshit. And, I am fresh out of chainsaws, so
No, I agree with Adam on that. I mean, if you're asking my opinion on it, there's multiple angles, and we don't know all the angles and everything.
True.
I mean, we're running into something down here, and I was told by Ralph and John, who run NGSC Sports, now that I got a credential to the Rays game next week, I'm not allowed to talk about Wander Franco. If you don't know the whole story with him, he supposedly has a relationship with an underage woman in the Dominican Republic. Again, we don't know the whole truth behind that because the investigation is still ongoing. But I was told by Ralph and John that when I write an article, a weekly thing about the Rays, just make sure that you say in the article the Wander Franco situation is still ongoing. Don't put that he's guilty. Don't put that he's not guilty because we don't know. Exactly. Same thing with this. I think Michael Orr wants out of the conservatorship, like Adam said. As far as what I've read about the movie, supposedly they made $130 million, but then they say they only made $70,000 from the movie. So I don't know. The funny thing is, the only person that has yet to come out is Sandra Bullock. Go figure. Like the biggest star of the movie outside of Tim McGraw. But I mean, the biggest movie actress in the movie was Sandra Bullock, and she hasn't come out yet and said anything. If she will, she does. If she doesn't, she doesn't. But it's a bunch of here, like you said, he said, she said type of situation. We'll have to wait until it gets further along. And you know what? All they have to do is end it, and pay him so much money, and then it'll be all over with. And then everybody can go back to being peachy again. Because the Tuohys are a rich family. They're Ole Miss, supporters. They're both Ole Miss alumni, so nothing's going to change them going to Oxford to watch the Rebels play. That's not going to change anything. I'm sure that they've had season tickets forever, so I'm sure that they still go to all the Ole Miss games when they can in Oxford. So yeah, but yeah, there's my opinion on that. But yeah, I that was one of the things I was going to talk about tonight too, was the Michael Orr thing. But yeah, there's a couple teams in the top 25 that could be too high. But I mean, for the most part, it looks like they got it right coming out. But again, we won't, like Adam said, we won't really know anything about it until we get to conference play, week 3, week 4 of the season. Then we'll find out who the cream of the crop is at that point. That's how I feel about it. Again, we'll have to wait and see how that all plays itself out. But yeah. But yeah, I mean, there's not enough to really kind of give a honest opinion about the Michael Orr situation or the Wander Franco situation either. I can't specify because I don't have all the information. I'm not the Attorney General in the DR right now trying to figure out if this is true. Now, according to what I've heard, the first woman is 18 years old, drives a car, and has a kid. And just like you're in America, once you turn 18, you're an adult. But the second girl that came out and said that he had a relationship with her is underage. And if that's the truth, then his baseball career was all but over. His life might be over in retrospect. I know if he gets busted, the Tampa Bay Rays can get out of his contract. They just paid him $180 million. So they can get out of that contract because there's a moral cause in his contract. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think there's I think that's pretty much written into every contract.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. This game is boring, guys.
Is that
it's supposed to be boring.
I was watching. I just got done watching the first episodes of Hard Knocks. It was interesting to see Aaron Rodgers and company on there. It was cool. So
I saw it too. Yeah.
Yeah, I figure next week we'll do a big 2-hour preview show of NFL and NCAA, college football, pro football.
Sounds good to me. We can do that. We can break it down by conferences and Every division like that.
Yeah, break it down by. What we can do is we can break it down. We can break the conferences down in the NCAA, and then we can break the divisions down. And maybe we don't do everybody, and maybe we do like the top 5 in each conference in college football, because we only have so much time. I don't know how. Brad, you're gonna have to work, so I don't know if we can have a 4-hour show on Friday or on Thursday to break it all down.
No, you know what, guys? I'm actually off the next 2 Fridays. So if you guys want to go a 3rd hour next week,
we could talk about doing a 3rd hour and really hammer the NFL and NCAA next week.
If that's cool with you guys can go to 11. That's on you. But if you're good, then let's do that then. Then next week, we'll do an all college football NFL show. 3 hours. We'll break every conference down, every division down in the NFL.
That would come over on my show, and we can do it on mine.
Yeah, either way, it can be easily figured out. We
can do 5 hours of football next week.
I'm off tomorrow, and I'm off next week. So
okay,
yeah,
cool.
So, but again, yeah. So we can.
Because there's no show on the 31st. So
yeah, because the high school football game got rescheduled from the 1st to the 31st. So I got note of that today. So yeah,
gotcha.
Sorry about that. I was told by the guy that was on the show last week. He's like, "Oh, the bogey game got moved from the 1st to the 31st." I'm like, "Oh shit, okay, that's gonna hurt the show a little bit." So yeah, that's fine. I mean, unless you guys are available on Friday night, we can switch it up.
I'm not available on Friday night, unfortunately.
Okay, so yeah, so then what we'll do is we'll just there won't be a show that week. There won't be a show that week, and
we'll make up for it by doing 3 hours next week.
There you go. Yeah, we'll do 8 to 11 next week. We'll do a 3-hour show next week and break it all down.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
So the MLB, we're getting into the dog days of summer, August and September, where games now matter.
We're getting out of the dog days of summer.
This is the time of the year where everything breaks. This is a make or break time of the year for a lot of teams. So if you guys want, we can go division by division if you want.
Let me clarify. I think you're right. I'm wrong. It is the dog. We're getting out of the dog days of summer. We're coming into the dog days of summer. About the beginning of next month is the end of the season. 30 days of regular season baseball left.
Yep. And September, I think it's either September 30th or the first week in October is the final 3 days of the final 3 games of the season. Right now in the AL East, the Orioles own a 2-game lead on the Rays right now.
I was really hoping our friend was going to be on tonight because I wasn't really.
He hasn't shown up yet.
I kind of wanted to rub that in his face, but that's just me.
Let me check and see if he's here. Oh, wait a minute. What is this? Hang on just a second.
I'm a little petty like that, but that's
almost college football time. Somebody just mentioned that. That's. He hasn't. He asked me, guys, if he could come on, and I said, well, let me just put it to you this way: clear it with the other 3, because you flat out ticked them off. So if you get clearance from them, you got clearance from me. But I'm not doing it unless it's good with them, because I'm not about to another blow up on the show. So.
Yeah. And like I said, you know what I said. You all know what I said. So we'll leave it at that.
So right at the moment. So it's Baltimore up 2 games over Tampa Bay. Then you have the Jays, the Red Sox, and the Yankees that are all at their the Red Sox are 3.5 games back of the final wild card spot. The Yankees are 6.5 games back of the final wild card spot so far. The Yankees are actually under 500. They're the only team in the division that's under 500 right now.
What happened to the Yankees, bud?
I was going to ask Lou that question. What is going on in New York?
Well, ever since Judge went down, it hasn't been the same. And the pitching's been a rag. The hitting has been atrocious, and we haven't got the good players to replace him with. So it's been pretty bad since June. This is the first time we've been in this situation in 28 years.
Wow.
Lou, can I ask you a serious question? Is this Aaron Boone's last season as a manager?
If the Yankees don't make the postseason, yes, it will be his last season as Yankees manager.
Okay.
Or even if they don't get past the first round. His job is in jeopardy right now.
Okay. Just curious.
Do you think he could stay after the end of the season then, or do they hold on to him for the first 40 games of next year and then give him the axe?
I think if they don't get into the postseason, Boone's gonna be gone.
Yeah, they're too talented to not make the playoffs.
They are a talented baseball team.
Yeah, but it's not showing up this year, is it?
And that really comes down to management, you know?
Very true. The AL Central, the Twins are on top. They're up by 4.5 games over the Guardians, 8 up on the Tigers, 14.5 up on the White Sox, and 24.5 on the Royals.
Does anyone in that division have a winning record?
The Twins are at 63 and 59 right now.
They're the only ones with a winning record.
Yes. The Guardians are 58 and 63. The Tigers are 54 and 66 right now. So the only team above 500 is the Twins. The AL West right now is a 2.5 game lead for the Texas Rangers over the Houston Astros. I think those two teams are going to go back and forth at the end of the year. Then you have Seattle, then the Angels, and then the poor Oakland A's, who they can't get anything right all season. They 32.5 games out of the first place. They're 38 games out of first place. 32.5 out of the wild card spot. They sit at 34 and 87. So they're 13 wins away from a 100 loss season. That's sad.
They break the record.
I don't know. They'll get close.
What's the record for most losses by a team in the MLB? Do you guys know?
120?
122.
122.
2. So that means they would only win 40 games. 6 games left. Ooh, that's doable. That's
a tall order, though. I don't know. 6 wins.
That's for the worst.
6 wins with 40 games.
How many
40 odd games?
Yeah, 40 odd games left. So they're only going to win. Yeah, that's a little far fetched. If there was like 10 games left and they only, that might be a little bit of a different scenario.
Now, if we get to mid-September, because you're looking at them going on a couple of 15-game losing streaks to get to 123.
I can see it.
I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible, but that's a tall order, though. You have to be. I mean, I know they're so far they're hysterically bad, I should say, but they'd have to keep being. They'd have to be atrocious, and the hard part about that. The hard part about that in the end of the year, as you've got teams in the middle of, you got Detroit and you got Detroit, Seattle, Chicago, teams like that, who aren't really playing for anything. So they're gonna be phoning it in. And then you got guys on Oakland that are playing for a job next year, that are working hard to improve their stock, whether it be, trade capital or free agency market, so that they're gonna play, guys in the middle path that have nothing to lose, or I should say nothing to gain. Nothing to gain by playing hard. Guys that have contracts, guys that are under contracts on mediocre good teams, or mediocre, like like there's good teams. There's like a line, good teams and bad teams, and everybody else is kind of in the middle, right? Neither good nor bad. You got a team that's 5 or 6 games above 500, 5 or 6 games below 500, not really in a playoff race, not at the bottom. Guys that are going to come back next year, guys that have played well, but at this point in the season, we don't have anything to play for, so we're not going to try hard. We're not going to leg out that single. We're not going to run we're not going to go after a fly ball into the corner. We might pull up a step or two. We might slow down a step early on the warning track because we don't want to go crashing into the outfield wall. I almost said inboard. Playing hockey here, but whereas a guy in Oakland, a guy that's a September call up, who's looking to make a roster next year, looking to impress a scout, looking to impress a GM, isn't gonna pull up that half step early. They're gonna slam into that wall. They're actually gonna try it back. They're not gonna and they're working real hard to look for a good pitch to hit because they're trying to get a contract for next year. There's the guys that are already under contract and on teams that aren't really playing for anything might let up a little bit.
Well, I mean, the rumor is that the franchise is moving to Vegas, but then again, they're not going to be in Vegas for years because it takes 2 years to build a stadium. It's not like they can put up the stadium overnight and they're going to be playing in Vegas next year. But I know there have been rumors that team is moving out of Oakland to Las Vegas. Now,
yeah, you're looking at 2026 at the earliest for them to move to Vegas.
Correct. That's exactly correct. That was the American League. The National League, I think this is the best team in all of baseball in the NL East. I think Braves are the best team in all of baseball. They're scary good. They can pitch, they can play defense, and they can hit. They're scary good. Sorry if I piss off a bunch of people that aren't Braves fans, but sorry, they're a good baseball team. They have a 12.5 game lead on the Phillies, 16 up on the Marlins, 23.5 on the Mets. That's a joke. Thank you, Steve Cohen, for paying all that money and then trading all those guys at the deadline. How'd that work out for you? And then the Nationals, 24 games back. So, yeah. And then the NL Central, we have the Milwaukee Brewers, who I think they're solid. That's a solid team. They have a 2.5 game lead on both the Cubs and the Reds in the NL Central. Then you have the Pirates and the Cardinals that are in the bottom of the division with the same record, 54 and 67. St. Louis has to be a disappointment this year, right? Because the Cardinals used to win that division. I think
year in and year out, man.
It all started. Yeah. The NL West, the Dodgers are up 10 games on the Giants, 13. And I thought Arizona was going to have a good year this year. They're only 1 game above 500 right now. And then you have the Padres, and I'm going to get to see the Rays play the Rockies next week at Tropicana Field. They're 28 games back of the Dodgers in the NL West. But I'm really I'm really excited about getting to go to an MLB game as a credential member. I never expected that to happen. But I'm really excited about it because I talked to Ralph on the phone, and he guys, if you want to know this, he calls me in the middle of the day at work. I thought I was in trouble. I thought, what the did I do? Like, what the hell did I do? He's like, no, you're in trouble if you don't call me back. So I call him back on the phone. He's like, I'm going to read this to you. I'm like, okay, this is going to be some website or some writer. Thank you for plagiarizing my article, you bastard. You're going to get fined. The website's going to go down. He goes,
Kenny.
Yeah, he goes, I want to welcome you to Tampa Bay Rays baseball. And I'm going, Ralph, what the hell are you talking about, dude? He goes, you got a credential. I go, what? He goes, yeah, you got approved for the Rockies game. I go, oh, okay, that's cool. I'll take it. I'm like, I thought I was in trouble. And he's like, no, you weren't in trouble. He goes, I wouldn't call you if you were in trouble. He goes, I'd have just texted you. And I'm like, oh, that's great to know. Okay. That's fantastic to know.
That's what I love about Ralph.
Okay. That's fantastic to know. But yeah, he was all, I got to talk to John, the guy that runs the website with Ralph, and they're both excited. They're like, yeah, man, just go and have fun. And I was talking to Gerald before the show. Going to USF games, you get to know where you're going. I haven't been to Tropicana Field for a baseball game, so this is going to be a little bit new for me on next Wednesday. Like I got the, let's look at this next week. I got the game on Wednesday, 3-hour show on Thursday, and then my high school football game on Friday. So I got 3 good days in a row coming up next week. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. I am looking forward.
That's going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward. Well, look at this, guys. I'm going through my credentials. Take a look at this. Right, I don't know if you can see. You can't see.
It's being out.
How about that?
Yeah.
You see that? It's my credentials to the XFL with the Viper over here. I only got to go to 2 games before COVID shut the season down. So I got a new microphone. So I'm taking all my credentials down, and I'm going to put them somewhere else because I'm not throwing them away. I'm just going to put them somewhere else.
Yeah.
I don't ever,
shadow box.
I don't ever throw any of them away because I can always look back and say, hey, I got to go to that game, or hey, look what I got.
How far we've come.
Yeah. So
you should get a shadow. You should make a shadow box out of them.
I could do that, but thank you for that idea. I could definitely do that. I know. I'm not going to say that I'm going to get USF credentials, but I don't know why I would be declined. I've been there last season, so.
You okay, Gerald? You okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You leaning all serious.
Just listening to y'all.
Yeah, Gerald doesn't really, when we talk about baseball and hockey, he's not. That's okay though. I mean, he's not. He's sitting back and listening and absorbing and listening to us talk. Then he knows what we're talking about. So come time of the World Series, he'll know what we're talking about.
Exactly.
The World Series kicks off.
Yes.
But
I doubt the Yankees will be in it.
Yeah.
I like your Rangers though. They played some pretty good baseball this year.
I was gonna say Texas is having a good year. They're having a very good year this year.
They may surprise everybody.
Yeah, Texas is.
Yeah, this strikes the hell out of me. You know who I think is more disappointing than the A's, because everybody figured they were going to be bad. But I think Seattle is the biggest disappointment this year.
Cardinals.
The Mariners, really?
Yeah, well, I mean, where were they last year? They were a top 5 team. They're a playoff team. They were expected to compete this year, compete in the AL West, which was figured to be a weaker division. Not a weak division, but a weaker division because of the A's. The A's are bad. The Angels are still struggling, even though they have 2 generational talents. They don't have any pitching, and they don't have any hitting outside of Ohtani and Trout. So the Angels were expected to be pick up an easy win, and no one had Texas pegged as a top 5 team or top 10 team. I think the Cardinals. I think the biggest thing for me about the Cardinals is that I don't know why. I don't know why everybody's shocked that they're bad. Like, they didn't do it. They got old. We knew it was going to happen. Pujols, Molina, they aged out. Wainwright aged out. The farm system. They haven't built the talent like they have been doing for the last 20 years. I expected them to be down. I didn't expect them to be that far down. The Reds have surprised a lot of people. I expect them to be as good as they are. I figured the Brewers would be probably the best team in the Central. The Mets have been an incredible disappointment. I think I know Lou doesn't want to hear it, but I think the Yankees have been a disappointment.
It's true.
All the money and talent. I think
money does not buy a championship.
money doesn't buy a lot of things.
No.
But I ain't gonna turn it down. So you want to send me money? Money may not buy happiness, but it can buy a jet ski. And have you ever seen someone sad on a jet ski?
Yes.
Not unless they fall off the thing. No.
Right. You know, I can't say that. You know, I think that if your team is in a top 10 team in baseball or any sport, it doesn't have to be baseball. Pick your favorite sport. You know, if the Cowboys or the Buccaneers or the Jets have a bet, you're disappointed as a fan. I mean, it's a disappointment. Anytime you don't win, anytime you don't go 82-0, 162-0, 16-0, I mean, it's a disappointment. You know, and so, you know, I think as a fan, you know, it's something that I say a lot, but you know, I think it bears repeating. Is that, you know, there are people, you know, that you know, and I know I kind of you know, threw some shade on some guys that might have contracts that aren't up in next year, and so they might not give it 100%. But you know, there's still people. You know, everybody has a bad day at work. You know, look at Luka Doncic. You know, just won an NBA championship, won the first title in Denver's history. You know, everybody's going crazy, and he's like, I want to go back to Serbia and raise my horses. I mean, there's more important things than basketball for him. You know, and I think we sometimes, as much as we love sports, you know, you know, a fan is just short for fanatic. That we kind of lose sight of the fact that they're people with other interests and hobbies and things they like to do, and that sometimes you just can't get up for 162 baseball games. You know, sometimes, you know, like you know, like the Yankees. I know I'm not picking on the Yankees, and it's nothing personal, but you know, when the top guy goes down, you tune out the manager because you just don't want to hear it. You know, you show up to the locker room, you show up to the game, you show up to 162 odd baseball games, and you have nothing to show for it. You know, I mean, you know, you have millions of dollars, but at the end of the day, when you play sports, the ultimate prize is to win championships. And you know, it's hard to get it's hard to go to the office every day and grind when you know you stink. When everybody else around you stinks, and you know you know they're giving 100%. You know they're trying, and yet for whatever reason you just can't find that next year to be a better player. You know that talent. Right. You know that there are only so many talented people in the world, and only so much money that goes to pay these guys, and they have concerns. And you know, we talk a lot about free agency, and I mentioned that. And but that just because you want a guy to come play for your team doesn't mean that he wants to play in your city, that his girlfriend wants to live in your city, and that his wife wants to uproot the family and move to your city. So, you know, those are the things that, you know, I think we get blinded to the fact that we get blind to the fact that that at the end of the day, they're still people. You know, we don't think of them as people. We think of them as a commodity in a way.
Property.
Yeah, it's a little bit different with well, again, if you think about it too, I mean, it's a long season, so you got to grind. You're traveling. You know, you're away from home for 82, 81 games of the year. You know, and then you got to get up every day, go grind and hit and field. And if you're one of the the better players on your team, you're playing almost every day. You may get a day off with a day-night doubleheader, or they may DH you, or you're not playing the field. But a lot of times, you're going to be out there for 100, 120, 130 of those games. You're going to be out there playing. 140 of those games, you're going to be out playing. So it takes a toll on you, and it's just. I mean, again, just like with the NFL, by the time we get to the Super Bowl or the Stanley Cup. anybody that gets in the finals, you can't tell me that all those guys are 100%. Somebody's got a broken finger, ankles, wrists.
Right.
They can tape it up and go out and play because they love to play the game that they love to play.
3 or 4 teeth.
Yeah, you find out during the off season what actually was wrong with the guys in the NHL. It's like, oh, he played with a broken elbow. Okay, well, great, fantastic. He taped it up, and then that was it. So, he played with two broken fingers. Oh well, he taped them up inside his glove, and he was able to shoot the puck. Or was he a goaltender? It was his non-catching hand, and he was able to still hold on to his stick. So
yeah.
So it's by the time you get to the World Series, you get what is it, a couple of days off in between the AL and NL championships, but still that once you want to be back out there playing because you've been grinding for the whole year. You want to get back out there and keep the grind going. So
I think the hardest games are the games that mean nothing either way, right? Like, look at the Braves. Like, they have a 16-game lead or whatever, some absurd game, and they still have 40 games left. 40 games of baseball that really mean nothing in the grand scheme of things,
Yes.
And the flip side, you got Oakland. They've got 40 games that mean absolutely nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And, to get up for the last 40 games of a season that's been lost since May, especially when you were in spring camp in February, and they're not stupid. They can look around. They can see who's out there playing with them, and they're not unprofessional. I'm not saying like the bad news bears, but they can look across the field and they can see the guys. They're bigger than us. They're stronger than us. They have more facial hair than us. They know that, and it's going to be a grind for 162 games in 180 days. And you might get one day off a month. Where you have nothing, baseball. And obviously some guys aren't start every night, but most your starters are going to play 140, 150 games, 152 games. They might have 10 nights off, but you can't do anything with it because it's a random Tuesday and you got to play Wednesday. You're still on the bench and you still got to be available to pinch hit, pinch run. Somebody gets hurt and you got to you think you have a night off, and we're not going to use you. And the left fielder blows out a knee in the third inning, and guess what? You're going in the game. And so much for a night off.
Well, I think also too. I think Oakland was set up to fail. All the big paycheck guys were all traded during the offseason. I think ownership basically said, you know what, we don't give a shit anymore. We're going to put the team out there that we have, and whatever happens, happens. And as you can see, they're on the verge of maybe breaking the MLB record. Now, again,
I'd be proud of you.
No, exactly. I
A
mean,
dubious record.
if you look at it, there are records that we don't ever want to see happen, like an 0-16 NFL team. Why does everybody say that? Oh, let's hope there's an 0-16 team. Why? So that you can give them a hard time? Fantastic, great, fantastic. Because guess what?
Well, I do enjoy hating on Dan Orlovsky.
If the shoe was on the other foot and that was your team going 0-16, you wouldn't be saying that. You would.
Well, it was my team that went 0-16, so I can say that.
That's true. That's true.
That
team anyway.
But to your point, it's not like they weren't trying.
Right.
As much as I enjoy, as much as I enjoy hating on the 0-16 Lions, the 08 Lions, as much shit as I talk about that team, it's not like they weren't out there trying. I mean,
exactly.
It's a series of, it's a game of inches, right? We talk about that. It's a game of inches. There were at least a dozen games that they were in. They could have easily a break here, a break there. They could have easily gone 12-4 and won a Super Bowl. And that 0-16 team would have never happened. But I think it's Schadenfreude. For a lot of people, the misery of others makes you feel better about yourself. We enjoy the suffering of others, and when it comes to breaking dubious records, like the worst team in baseball history, or the an 0-17 team, the first 0-17 team. It'd be nice to have an 0-17 team, so I didn't have to hear about 0-16 again.
The interesting about the A's is if they break the loss record, they also own the most wins in a row in the American League, or the whole league in general, winning 20 games in a row. So they own that record too. They won 20 games. They're the only team ever in MLB history to win 20 games in a row, and now they could set the record for the most losses. So they can own both of those records.
A very dubious distinction.
Yeah. Correct me. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that the Cleveland broke that out in 2017. I think they went like 22-0.
The Guardians or the Indians at the time?
The time they were the Indians, and I think somebody else in the National League went like 26-0 in like 1925. I don't know if we still count 1925, but like the Washington Senators or something like that. You'd have to look that up, but I know for a while you're correct that the Oakland A's were the modern era baseball. I'm pretty sure that Cleveland went like 22-0.
The longest winning streak in MLB history is 26 by the New York Giants in 1916.
Jesus Christ!
Listen to this: the 1916 Giants won 26 in a row, despite only going 60-66 for the rest of the season.
Jesus.
There you go.
So, outside that 26-game winning streak, they only won 24 games.
Mm-hmm.
34? Yep. 24? 24. Yeah.
The Oakland A's in the
34.
2002 won 20 consecutive games between August 13th and September 4th. They won 20 games in a row. 20 games in a row. Let's see here. This is each MLB franchise's longest winning streak. So the Giants. Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. You are correct, my friend. The Guardians won 22 games in 2017. 2017. The Giants, 26 games. The one we just talked about. It says the Guardians, but it was the Indians at the time that won 22 games. The 1935 Cubs won 21 games. So the A's they did own the American League record until the Guardians passed them in 2017. Okay.
Guardians.
Yep. Because then it's beneath them, number 5 is the 47 Yankees and the 1906 White Sox have 19 games in a row. So.
That's hard to do, though.
Yeah.
I still call them the Indians.
Yeah. The Angels' longest winning streak is 11. Astros have won 12 games in a row 3 times. The A's have won 20 in a row. We know that. The Blue Jays, 11, 5 times. The Braves have won 15 games in a row. The Brewers, 13. Cardinals, 17. Guardians, 22, or the Indians. The Cubs, 21. The D-backs, 13. The Dodgers, 15. The Giants, 26. I think they have the record. Mariners, 15. The Marlins, 9. They've done that 5 times. The Mets have won 11 games in a row 5 times. The Nationals have won 10 games in a row 5 times. The Orioles have won 14 in a row twice. Padres have 14. The Phillies, 13. Pirates, 16. Rangers, 14. The Rays, 13, which I think happened this season. Yes, This year they won 13 games in a row. The Red Sox have won 15 in a row. The Reds, 12. The Rockies, 11. The Royals, 16. Tigers, 14 twice. The 1934 Tigers and the 1909 Tigers or the two teams that have done that. The Twins have won 15 games, White Sox 19, the Yankees 19 from June 29th, July 17, 1947 was when the Yankees winning streak at that point. That was who was on that team, Lou? That
47? I mean, post Ruth.
Maggio was there. Rizzuto was there.
Ruth
God.
was Mano and Ruth on that team, or was that before Mickey?
Mano didn't come to 49.
Okay.
And Ruth had already retired. Ruth was.
So Lou Gehrig,
I think he had.
on that team, or was he out?
He was.
Wait, say it again. One time.
Was Gehrig on that
Gehrig
team?
was long gone.
Or was he long gone?
No, Gehrig was already gone, but
Okay.
because
Okay.
he passed away in 40. I think he passed away in like 42.
Okay.
I think so.
From
But didn't he give his the luckiest man in the world speech in 42?
July 4th, 1941.
next
41. One of the
to
greatest.
next to Coach Valvano's speech at the ESPYs, one of the greatest speeches of all time.
Yeah, easily.
I don't know how you cannot watch either one of those and not cry, because
It's just dust. I don't know about you, but it got real dusty in here.
Yeah, both of them are very, very heartbreaking to hear them because they're not here anymore, and to know what Lou Gehrig went through and to know what Coach Valvano went through fighting cancer and all that stuff. Yeah.
I remember that.
But I mean, any SB speech, like Stuart Scott's SB speech, is another one that's that you can. Knowing that he's not here anymore, and who was the NBA guy that passed away? That was the famous sideline guy that wore all the suits, different suits. I can't think of his name.
I can see his stupid face.
All right, Lou.
Craig Sager.
There you go, Craig Sager. Thank you.
One of the best to ever do it.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. One of the most hilarious guys to do an interview with.
Yeah.
If Craig was doing the interview, you're like, okay. Let's
gonna
see
be a
what
good
he's
one.
gonna ask. What question is he going to ask off the record that you don't normally hear somebody ask? But yes, and I know Greg Popovich, who just went into the NBA Hall of Fame over the weekend, loved him. Loved Craig. I mean, love-hate. It's a love-hate relationship between the two of those two. Yeah, any of those.
I think.
If no one's watched those, anyone watching the show, Go Google Jim Valvano's speech at the SB, Stuart Scott, Lou Gehrig's The Luckiest Man in the World speech.
If you haven't heard the lucky, if you're a sports fan, if you're watching the show and you have not watched the Lou Gehrig speech, The Luckiest Man in the World speech, I want you to pause this video, go watch that. We'll wait, and then come back.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Okay, you've had time now. We're back.
I agree with that. Because what? Would you consider Lou Gehrig one of the best players of all time? Not just as Yankees,
sure,
but as one of the best players to ever suit up, ever?
Absolutely.
I mean, you don't. God, I'm not going to be able to remember I'm not going to be able to remember his name. Who's the guy that he replaced?
Lou Gehrig? Who did he replace?
Yeah,
I don't, because it was Ruth Gehrig. That was the young. It was a young Gehrig, and Babe was on his way, kind of out of New York at that point, or getting close to the end of his career. I think.
He was on the team too.
Who was that, Lou?
DiMaggio was on the team because he.
Oh, there you go. I forget about him. I forget about.
You can't be a Joe.
Yeah, I forget about Joe.
Wally Pip, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
Because didn't Gehrig replace Pip, or am I remembering that wrong?
No, I think you're right about that.
Because Wally Pip, he had a night off. They gave him the night off, and feel free to correct me in the comment section, but I believe that it was Lou Gehrig that was the fill-in for got to start that night, and Pip never got to play again. And then getting picked, Wally Pip.
Wally Pip.
If somebody wants to look that up and confirm that or dispel that, because I don't remember offhand, but I'm pretty sure it was Gary that replaced Pip.
Yes.
And Garrett was the Iron Man before
Cal Ripken.
Yeah. And Garrett pioneered Iron Man.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, you could consider him the first. You could
We talked about it.
Iron Man of
September 18th, 1995.
I have a plaque of Cal Ripken Jr. I have a plaque that yeah. My former roommate went to Baltimore for a cosplay convention. He goes, "Hey, can I buy you anything?" I said, "If they got anything with Cal Ripken, being an Oriole town," he's like, "Sure." He comes back with this plaque, and I'm like, it's got all his stats, his RBIs, his hits. I'm like, you didn't need to do that. Just get me a damn plaque with Cal's, him breaking the record, him breaking Garrett's record would have been fine. He brings me back this plaque with all of the stats. I'm like, cool. I have to hang it up. I have to hang some stuff up, but those speeches alone, if you don't watch those, yeah.
If you haven't heard those yet,
yeah, you need to go
do yourself a favor and go look them up.
Go watch them. Yeah, take some time to go watch them.
Yeah.
So we are what? This is week 2 of the preseason out of 3.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the full preseason that is, unless you count the Hall of Fame game.
Right.
Because we have the Jets and the Bucks tomorrow, Lou, or is it Saturday?
Jets and Yucks play on Saturday.
Saturday, okay.
Giants and the Lions play tomorrow.
Who's on the night? Who's playing tonight?
We have the
Browns and Eagles.
Browns and Eagles.
Is it that boring? I haven't heard anybody cheer. So is it that boring of a football game?
Halftime is 8-3.
Wow, what a score! Let's all get up and cheer. Let me guess the Browns lead 8-3, right? You're gonna tell me?
Yeah, Browns have 3 Eagles. Browns have 8. Eagles are at 3.
The defending NFC champions are losing. Should we all start panicking in Philadelphia? They're gonna panic in Philly. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Pump the brakes. It's preseason. Don't get too much into it.
Smash TV sets afterwards.
Well, speaking of Philadelphia, I was talking to Ralph the other day. WrestleMania is in Philly next year.
Oh, really?
I told him, I said, hey.
Tomorrow for that.
I'm sorry?
Tickets are on sale tomorrow for WrestleMania in Philly.
Sure, I tried to ask him if he could get me credentials to that, because if so, I guess I'm flying to Philly next year.
That'd be fun.
I'll make sure to send you one of those back when I'm sitting in the press box at Lincoln Financial Field.
I would not step foot on that shitty field.
I was gonna say you're a Cowboy fan. That would be like negative energy if you go in there in Lincoln Financial Field.
I would not step foot on that shitty field.
Well, there's another thing we needed Alex for tonight to defend his Eagles, and he's not. He's not. So.
Yeah, I feel the same way about the horseshoe.
Yes. Well,
not in your life.
I would not step foot up in Norman, Oklahoma, neither.
I feel exactly. I feel about East. I feel the same way about East Lansville. East Lansing. No, wait, I didn't.
He called him out. He called out the Spartans. He called out the Spartans and the Buckeyes. No, I like I said, the SEC schedule, the last SEC stadium I will go to will be in Knoxville. Maybe if I ever go to Knoxville, but yes. So
I might brave Leland later this year.
Brad, if you do go to WrestleMania next season, make sure you wipe your shoes before you leave the stadium.
I will try.
Maybe you should just buy a new pair of shoes when he gets
I
done.
was gonna say I could
There
just
you go.
buy a new pair. I'll go to the airport. I'll land in Philly, buy a new pair of shoes, throw them out, and then go get another new pair as I fly back to Tampa.
There you go.
Buy a new pair in the airport.
You gotta take your
Eagle green. I'll buy eagle green shoes to go to the vet or the old vet. Yeah.
Buy the eagle green shoes, and when you get done, leave them there in Philly.
Oh. Well, we can talk about that next week too. I'll turn the NFL here. We can talk about that.
Yeah, we'll save that for next week.
All right. Let's see.
I am so impressed with our rookie running back we got in the draft, Vaughn. That little.
There's one preseason game. Calm down. Push the one preseason game. One preseason game. And did he do something? What did he do? Was it something on the field or off the field?
On the field.
What did he do? He start a fight?
Well, that's a shit to know something good, let me tell you. He's hard to bring down. Adam's supposed to give me shit, y'all.
Always. He'd think something. He'd think I didn't like him if I didn't.
I'm still going to find my duct tape and have it for next week.
Yes.
Well, it's going to be that type of show next week. It's going to be one of those shows next week. So prepare for the duct tape and everything to be out next week. We might go full bondage next week with everything that's going to be flying next week. So let's just throw that out there right now. It could be.
Joke's on you. I'm into that shit.
One of this show is for sure only.
Keep your kids away from your computers next week, okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
The FAA may suspend us next week after
That's not even, we bypassed the FCC. We've gone straight to the FAA.
FAA. Yeah, the FCC, forget about it. The FCC is, forget about it.
We're not even getting the communicate. We're getting the airplane people involved. That's how crazy that show. This show's gonna next week's show's gonna. We're getting the airplane people involved.
Also along the CIA, the FBI, and everything else.
Mm-hmm. Brad getting an email from all them. Sir, this show has been canceled due to adult content.
Right, we'll just post it on the hub. It'll be all right.
We're gonna air all the greasy stuff on OnlyFans. So head over there. We'll do all the greasy stuff over there next week. So the Walker Report officially has an OnlyFans page. Head over there. We'll entertain you.
Well, it'll be the Walker Report TNA show.
Yes, correct. Yes.
And it's not, and it doesn't. That doesn't stand for total nonstop action neither.
And it's going to be rated X.
Yes, rated X.
That's why it's on OnlyFans.
Yeah, correct. Yes, be here next week, guys, as we talk all college and pro football. So be prepared for us.
We're bringing out the ropes, the chains, the whips, the leather.
Be prepared for some BDSM action. We're doing it all next week. Yeah, we're doing it all. It's all coming out next week, man. It's all.
And if that happens, I may not do a show next week. That way, I'll be prepared for Brad's.
Hey, it's gonna be 3 hours of torture, baby. 3 hours of torture.
I'll have to dig out my gimp suit.
Yeah, there we go. Every time I think of that, I remember Pulp Fiction. I remember that every time I see it, I think of Pulp Fiction. So, yes.
And also, we might have a murder on the show next week, too.
During the
We might have a murder on every show, so.
during the pregame, I thought sure she was gonna kill him. So I was like, I don't even have it recording.
So did
It's
I.
only me. It's only me. I don't even have it recording right now, so there's no evidence. It would be on me to say, "Gosh, she didn't do it. She didn't do it. He
I
did
did
it.
it with
She
a
didn't do it." So yeah,
Yeah. How to get
He
away
shot
with
himself
murder.
from across the room. I don't know what happened.
correct, exactly.
And then all of a sudden, the butcher knife appeared in his throat.
Yeah, right behind him. Repeat of the psycho shower scene, but the opposite. The guy killing the girl. It's the other way around on this side.
Gerald was murdered by Oompa Loompa.
Yeah. Oh,
It'll be the Shining.
now you're pissing her off by calling her an Oompa Loompa. Now she's really gonna kill you. Now she's really gonna kill you. Holy
And
cow!
The Shining was on last night too.
Oh my lord! Oh my lord! Well, the Ryder Cup is coming up next month. European and the United States teams. Let me see real quick. I thought. Oh wait a minute! What the heck am I missing here?
No, the Ryder Cup is played over in Europe, right?
Yes, sir. It's in Rome this year, actually.
Room.
Just wanted to show some of these.
Oh wow, Philly finally scored a touchdown.
Thanks, Sonny.
Oh, wow.
Some of these.
Well, Philly can stop panicking now.
I don't know. Again, guys on.
I still need to make that tutorial video. Remind me when we get done here, and I will make that tutorial video.
Yeah, because we don't know, guys. I don't know who this is.
Scott, apparently.
This is Scott. And then this is.
Yes,
I don't know who.
Go to I think it was Georgetown High Round Rock High School that Deuce went to.
Deuce McAllister?
Deuce Vaughn.
Deuce Vaughn. Is that the kid you guys just picked up?
Yes, he's a Texas kid. He played his high school football in Texas at Round Rock High.
Cool.
So here are the Ryder Cup standings for Team USA.
Okay.
Zach Johnson is the captain. Here's the thing. I don't know what the status is of live players because so here we are right now. So this is how it breaks down. These are the top 25 as far as points. Now I think there's only 10 players that are picked. Is it 10 or 12? I think it might be 12 players if I don't remember exactly. But right now,
is it 10 players and 2 alternates?
It's 12 guys total. So it's 10 players and then 2 captains picks. So here's the top 25, but I'll give you the top 10. Scotty Scheffler, he's been the number 1 player in the world for a long time. Wendell Clark, who won the Open Championship, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. No, he won the U.S. Open. Sorry. Patrick Cantlay, Brian Harmon. Harmon is the one who won the Open Championship. Brooks Koepka, who is he's a live guy. Max Homa, Xander Schauffele, Jordan Spieth, Cameron Young, Colin Morikawa, Keegan Bradley, and Sam Burns would be the top 12. Now, Rick Fowler is on the outside looking in. Justin Thomas, to name a few, but it'll be up to Zach Johnson to pick his team. I really honestly, usually when the United States goes to foreign turf, they're the underdogs because they don't play very well on European turf. I think we've only won 1 Ryder Cup in the last decade on foreign turf. We don't win them on turf. We have the cup. So the cup is in our possession. We won it 4 years ago in 2019. 19. We won it in
20.
Didn't do it in 20 because what? So here's what happened. The Ryder Cup was in the odd years until September 11th. The President's Cup was in even years until September 11th, and then it went back after the COVID ban in 2020. It went back to being what it was before. So now the Ryder Cup is in odd years. The President's Cup is in even years. The President's Cup, if you guys don't know what that is, that's the United States against everybody but Europe. So it's the rest of the world. So that's how they do that. So that the rest of the guys that are outside of England or outside of the United Kingdom can play. The Ryder Cup, to me, that's the one golf tournament that I'm always on edge every year, no matter what, because
Right.
I find it exciting. I know there's not a lot of golf fans out there, but that would be one that you would want to watch because it's not the normal 18-hole, 4-hour thing. It's match play, and then at the end, on Sundays it's one-on-one. So that's what really makes it good is to see these guys go one-on-one with each other. They're not playing to get to the clubhouse and they're five strokes behind. It's a match play, so match play is a little bit different. I'm just curious on how the live guys, like the Brooks Koepkas or the Cameron Jordan or Cameron Smith or whatever his name is, that's on the live tour, how these guys are going to be welcomed in Rome. Are they going to be cheered? Or is like live hated all over the globe and not just the United States? I'm curious on how your foreign golf fans are going to treat them when they go over there.
I kind of think it'll be more so that they're American golfers. I really don't think it'll matter what tour they're on. I think that when an international, doesn't matter what sport you're playing, but when international competition takes place, you're not rooting for like an individual. You're more rooting for a country, and so like the European fans will be rooting for Team Europe to win, and rooting against the American team, and it really won't matter what tour they play on, right? Because like they're not going to care if live guys play for Team Europe. They want Team Europe to win, unless there's super diehard PGA fans that only follow the PGA, that only care about the PGA, then maybe. But I think that all kind of gets set to the side for a tournament like this, where it's all about national bragging rights for a year. American golf fans have been able to talk shit for a year to the rest of the world, and now they get a shot to take it back, and they get bragging rights for a year. So I think that's more of where.
I agree, but with that, I mean, I think you get bragging rights for 4 years, and especially if we can win on foreign soil. Like I said, we haven't won a Ryder Cup on foreign soil in a long time. So if we can retain it, bring it back to U.S. soil in 2027, then it's a little bit of a different story. I don't even know where the 2027 Ryder Cup is going to be, but let me see if they'll tell me. Hang on a minute. That's it's every 4 years. Is it every 4 years or is it every 2? Maybe not. Maybe you're right.
I thought it was every other year. I thought it was every other year.
You could be exactly right. I could be totally wrong.
Yeah.
Hang on just a minute. Let's see. Ryder Cup 2023. Here, let's go here. Let's go to the RyderCup.com. That will tell me right there. Okay, so Molinari was named vice captain for Team Europe. Here are their rankings right now. Captain is Luke Donald. It's Rory McIlroy, John Rahm, Robert McIntyre, Victor Hovland, Terrell Hatton, Tommy Fleetwood that's right there. So those are the guys that are on the team already, and then there's 4 guys on the bubble: Yannick Paul, Adrian Murlock, Seep Straka, and Matthew Fitzpatrick. So that's Team Europe. That's Team Europe. So let's flip it over to Team USA. That's the European. Okay, so let's see here. Curious. Yeah, the Ryder Cup starts on the day before my birthday, Friday, September 29th, and ends Sunday, October 1st. The 44 Ryder Cup will be, I'm sorry, it's in Italy. Did I say Rome?
Yeah.
Rome is in
Yeah.
Italy, right? Okay.
Correct.
At the Marco Simone Golf and Country Club near Rome. The biennial event was originally scheduled for September 30th to October 2nd before the 43 matches were postponed because of the pandemic. Okay. So that they've rescheduled it back to this golf course for that. Okay, so let's see here. Let me type in Ryder Cup 2025 because I'm curious if it's every 2 years. Is it every 2 years or is it every... Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. My fault. You are correct, Lou. 2025, the Ryder Cup will be at Bethpage Black in New York.
Ooh.
In New York.
Well,
Yep. And then the 2027 Cup will return to Ireland in 2027. So it's every 2 years. My apologies. I thought it was every 4. My fault. So it is every other year. It's every other year. So they're in Rome in 2023, and then in 2025 they're in Bethpage. And I'll be honest with you, Bethpage is on my bucket list to play. They played a U.S. Open there, and Bethpage is a state park for people that don't know that. And it's a lot of fun from what I've seen on TV and what I've read online about it. That's it, and it's a public golf course. You don't have to be a member. It's not like Augusta where you have to, know a member and get on that way. But
nothing's
yes,
like Augusta.
That's super exclusive.
Bethpage is definitely accessible to play golf.
Because we play every other, we'll play the world next year somewhere, not in Europe.
Yeah, hang on. Let me look up the President's Cup real quick and see where the President's Cup is in 2024. Here, President's Cup. Okay, so that's Tuesday, September 24th to Sunday, September 29th. And it is going to take place in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
It's in Charlotte. This is United States versus the international team. And again, like I said, it's everybody outside of Europe. It's not everyone outside this. So where is the golf course at? The 2028 thing will be played. That's on foreign soil. They play that on foreign soil. So, okay. But yes, so where are they? Okay, hang on a minute. Let me find out what golf course in North Carolina they're playing in the 2024. Let's see. Location. The Royal Montreal Golf. Oh, that doesn't. What? Never mind. No, it says the Royal Montreal Golf Club in Quebec, Canada, is where the 2024 President's Cup will be. Right here.
That's not North Carolina.
That's not North Carolina. No, that would be in Quebec, Canada.
Yeah, last I checked, Quebec is not North Carolina.
And the 2026 Ryder Cup will take place in Medina, outside of Chicago. So we'll come back to Chicago. Yes. So yes, my fault. The 2024 President's Cup is not in North Carolina. No, it's in Quebec, Canada. The French province of Quebec will host the President's Cup. And yes, the Canadians can play in the President's Cup, where they're not allowed to play in the Ryder Cup. So yes, even though the Queen rules over Canada, it's just strictly the United Kingdom is who plays in
Europe
in the President's Cup. Yep. Yeah. Yes, correct. I wanted to. I don't have a logo for them, but the U.S. women's national team gets knocked out of the World Cup. They fired their coach, or he resigned. He resigned. Who are the top candidates to replace him? Do you know? And you've heard Excuse me, have you heard anything about
Yeah,
that?
there is one that was up for consideration. I read it yesterday.
Okay.
After they rejected my application, so that's another script another time. But
That would have
It
been
just
cool.
got lost in the mail. Send it again.
That would have been cool to have Lou named as the women's national head coach. We could have him interview
No.
every week. Every week he'd come on the show and give us an update on all the players.
yes,
Unfortunately, I think he'd get a little busy and wouldn't have time for us anymore.
Yes,
no,
I believe he would.
I
believe
wouldn't
he
do
would.
that. I don't forget where I came from. Okay, so after
No, I wouldn't blame you. I'd be too busy for us too.
head coach has stepped down. He was not fired. He stepped down. Twyla Kilgore is expected to take over as interim coach for 2 friendly matches in South Africa next month. Although it's not officially named yet, but it looks like that's going to be who's going to take over. As
I had a bad.
We got an injured Eagle player on the field. They must
Uh oh.
Uh-oh.
Uh oh.
I had.
Wait.
I just had.
Somebody finds this show funny. Who finds this show funny?
We do. I think we're hilarious. I think we're hilarious.
Worse.
Somebody finds this show funny on Facebook, damn it. Somebody does. Somebody finds it
I'll
funny.
drink to that. I'll drink to that.
So would I.
Somebody finds it funny. So.
Yeah, I had a bad feeling about this year's tournament anyway. They were just so overconfident.
Oh, you talk about the World Cup?
Yeah, the Women's World Cup. They just were so overconfident. And all those terrible commercials that they did for this year's tournament, I'm just like, they're going to get bounced. They're just going to get bombed, aren't they? Yeah, and sure enough.
They did.
They did, yeah.
Because they weren't the underdogs anymore. It wasn't America versus everyone else. It was everyone else versus America.
Yes.
When you're the top dog, everyone puts their best game out. You're not sneaking up on anybody. You're getting everybody's best game every night.
And I was worried about Portugal anyway, and that's when, what worried me. But when they had that time match in their second game, then, that's really started to shake the confidence.
Well,
And
who's left? They haven't played there are 2 teams left. Have they played the championship yet? I don't think they have.
Spain.
Okay. Yeah. Because Australia got bounced, right? Weren't they the favorites after the United States got bounced to win Australia?
Yes, they were.
yeah, I just had a
England is in their first Women's World Cup final.
wow.
Was it Spain versus England? Is that who the final is? Yeah.
So Sunday morning.
Yeah, I just had a bad feeling about it. And those commercials they did for Fox, and they were just so overconfident. Like you can't be a favorite with an underdog mentality.
Correct.
Everybody's gunning for you. You know that they're going to give you the best game. And America just played super flat. Super flat.
Yeah, see, Gerald, this is where we need, what's his name, Devin, to come on here and talk.
I know.
He's a huge soccer fan. Yeah, let him know in the future if he ever wants to come on and talk soccer, he's more than welcome.
You're excited.
Right now, he told me he's busy with work.
Yeah, I saw.
I don't.
I saw. I see his. I think he follows me on a lot of the socials, and I see his posts a lot. So yeah.
He's out.
He follows me over there on the TikTok, and he likes all my dumb videos.
Yeah.
Error.
But
you, Mr. Mangold,
yeah,
promo videos for the 2 shows.
Isn't that time?
it's not. It's not a matter of time. It's a matter of inspiration.
I've been patient enough It's time for action.
Well, if you write one, I'll record it. But I haven't had an inspiration in months. It's not a lack of. It's a lack of inspiration. It's not like I can.
Mhm.
You better not treat him like that. I hear you do that again, I'll beat your ass.
And yeah, she's gonna go all George Bush on you and throw a shoe at you.
Yeah.
I saw that press conference on a YouTube clip the other day. By the way, I saw that.
Go back
Oh,
to
that's
watching
on a
your
YouTube
video,
clip.
Loompa.
on a
Compilation.
Watch Mojo clip. Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, it's not. It's just a lack of inspiration. I haven't thought of anything good here. So if you write me one, I'll record it and you can come up with something.
I don't know of any good ones.
We'll have to
All
send
right,
it
then I don't want to.
We'll have to send it over to him. We'll have to write the script and then send it over to him.
Yeah, you write me a script and I'll act it out.
I gotta give Adam some shit.
Well, no, it's like I said, like next week, the 3-hour show, we're going to be giving a lot of shit to a lot of people because that's just
That's the nature of the beast.
in college football. There's going to be a lot of shoes thrown at other people and
Oh yeah.
other things to be thrown too. So,
Windows might be broken. TVs might be stolen and broken. So,
yes,
oh boy.
correct. Nothing is
Even
no
mine.
setup is safe next week.
We might
TVs,
get some
laptops,
threatening-
cell phones, nothing safe.
Air conditioners.
Threatening messages in our PM.
Yeah.
Maybe keep your therapist on deep speed dial.
This will be no.
Yes.
This will be no holds barred next week.
We might need BetterHelp.com to sponsor us next week.
Yes.
BetterHelp.com, please contact us.
Tell your physician
Let's
before
watch the
watching
show
the show
next
next week,
week.
folks.
Because we might have to get professional help after next week's show.
We need professional help after every show, to be honest
yes,
with y'all.
correct. That's correct. The only time we've ever gone over 2 hours is the draft show. So when we might go off the rails in that final hour. So yeah, we might go off the rails in that
Just
final
depends
hour.
on how much
Yeah, the
sleep
draft
we
show,
get the night
that's an
before
all-nighter.
and how we feeling the day of.
Right?
Like I said,
That's my last final in my senior year of high school. Yeah.
like I said, BetterHelp.com. Please reach out. You can throw a sponsorship in there. We'll throw that out there.
We'll take it.
Right now, if I don't have my sweet tea,
It's gonna be a long night.
Well, keep it on tap. Keep it on tap, Gerald. Yeah, just keep that. Put it up here. Keep it on tap.
We'll get him one of those. We'll get him one of those helmets with a couple of cans of sweet tea, and a straw.
There you go. Exactly.
Exactly.
My younger nephew got one of those hats for his birthday this past year. He asked for them. The thing with the hat with the straws and the the beer hats. Yes, he did. He got
Isn't he
it.
like 8?
He just turned 7. He just turned 7. He turned 7 this year.
7.
That's awesome.
He just turned 7.
I'm sure his mom would.
Yeah, my older nephew will be 11 in October. Yep.
I'm sure his mother was thrilled about that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
She's like, yeah. He goes,
Brad,
I'm sorry.
did you get him that hat?
No, I did not get him that hat. No. No,
No.
that was,
Yeah, he wants to see his nephews again.
yeah, exactly. I'm going to actually, the reason that I'm off next Friday is I'm actually going to be babysitting my niece next Friday, so that's why I have to do it. But yes,
Right.
I'd like to see my
How old
nephew.
is your niece?
My niece will be 6 on New Year's Eve this year.
Oh,
She'll be 6 years old on New Year's Eve. Yep.
is she Uncle's baby girl?
She is, and it's cool. I had my uncle who taught me how to play golf was named Barry, so he was my Uncle B. Well, they call me Uncle B. So all my nephews and my niece call me Uncle B. So it's cool. I get to go. We used to have family dinner on Tuesdays, but since we both moved, it's been moved to Sundays. So yes, I will still be watching football, but I will also be over with my family on Sundays to to eat dinner with them. So it's a family tradition that we've kept for a long time. So
It is now
we have
15
my
to
mom back.
10. Cleveland's up.
15-10.
Scintillating.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Scintillating.
It's
Yeah.
That's one of
definitely.
those snooze fest games.
Right. Yeah, well, it's preseason. It's supposed to be bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not this bad. Come on now.
Well,
Man.
especially after the first half of the first quarter when the starters are out of the game and it's all guys that are trying to get on the team. I'm not saying that those guys are bad, but it's just the odds of you making the squad is slim to none.
If they were good, they wouldn't. If they were
playing,
if they were starters, they wouldn't be playing. So
correct. That is correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are teams that have gone undefeated in the preseason and then have laid an egg during the regular season. Teams that have been horrible in the preseason and only to have a great season in the regular seasons. It just depends on your, like you said. Now it's gone from 4 to 3. I have a funny feeling in the next few years it'll go down to 2.
Yeah, no. They'll add an extra. They'll go up to 18 regular season games.
Correct. It'll be 18 regular season. Now, I'm curious if they go to 18, will they have 2 bye weeks?
Maybe.
Play 16-game season, have 2 bye weeks, but have 18 games. I mean, I would be okay with that. I'm wondering if the NFL
it hasn't been determined yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's because.
Well, it'll depend on money too, because again, at the end of the day, they can play 17 out of 18 games. You're going to make more money because you're going to have more TV time. And then the playoffs will start later in the year.
Well, there's also
18 playoffs.
NFL commissioner right now. That NFL commissioner is a crackhead.
Roger Goodell,
best commissioner in sports.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he is.
He's a bum.
By far the best commissioner in sports.
You think he's better than David Silver in the NBA?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, the NFL turns out the NFL prints money. The NFL prints money. I mean, if he hadn't turned the NFL into the juggernaut that he had, he would have been gone. I mean, you can't say you can dislike his decisions, but you can't say he's a bad commissioner. The NFL prints money hand over fist. I mean, we're not doing a 3-hour show of college hockey next week. We're doing an NFL college football. You can hate the NCAA. The NCAA is a bunch of bums, but I mean, they're doing something right.
They make a shit ton of money.
They make more money than God.
Yep.
I mean, you can say Commissioner Goodell is bad, but I mean, you can't argue with the results. What do you watch on Thursday nights? What do you watch on Sunday? What do you watch on Monday? I mean, you can't argue with the results.
I think the two commissioners that are not so good for their leagues are obviously Gary Bettman and
that schmuck
Rob Manfred, who just got an extension. How in the world do the MLB owners extend him? How? Why? That should have been asked.
That's a great question.
But that is for another time. Lou, go ahead and talk about your show.
All right. The I Need Help with my mental health show will be on Saturday 4 to 6 p.m. because I might need after this show. AKA the Enhanced Sports Show. Oh boy. 4 to 6 p.m. We'll discuss Major League Baseball, of course, as we head down towards the stretch of the season. NFL preseason continues. We'll do our first college predictions of the year, college football this year. I'll review the top 25 and see what the group thinks of who belongs where. We'll preview the World Cup final between England and Spain. I got my pick. I don't know for the rest of you, but tell me then. Also preview the FIBA Men's Basketball World Championship, which begins next week as well. Plus, of course, we have WNBA, which has been strike this week. We'll cover some PGA golf as well, along with WWE and UFC, and if any information becomes available, of course. Don't forget about our ridiculous item of the week, the sports trivia, this week in history, the focus story of the week, and of course, your thoughts and comments are always welcome. So remember, 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 to 5 where Gerald is, 9 o'clock in Europe, and somewhere else there on Mars. The number is 512-543-4662. I'll repeat it again, 512-543-4662 or 1-800-Louis is crazy, whichever comes first. Boy. On that note, good night.
Well, with that, with
Help
that,
me.
with that, like you said, in the middle of the show, guys, we did announce that we are going to do a 3-hour show from 8 to 11 o'clock next week. It will be strictly just college and pro football. We're going to go conference by conference in college football and division by division in the NFL. So if you are a fan of college football and pro football, please join us, and please comment on Facebook. Let us know what you feel about what we have to say, because I guarantee you there will be shots being fired next week around the college and NFL world next week. Just be prepared for that. We want to thank everyone that came on tonight to watch us. We appreciate everyone that did that. Everyone, please stay safe out there. I want to thank the men and women of our armed services and our first responders. Thank you for doing what you do. We could not be here without you guys. We are sponsored by creatingzenspaces.com and funwags.com. And our networks, we want to thank NGSE, Snowman Multimedia Sports, Game Winner Sports Network, Mancini Media, and the Sports Alliance of America Incorporated. Until next Thursday, I am the Sportster Bradley Walker. Until then, guys, peace.
Prince, send it.
It's a 3-hour show. A 3-hour show. I'm getting out of here. Good night.